The Galactic Council had clear protocols about Death World species. They could join civilized space, conduct trade, even participate in governance, but their animals stayed home. Earth had agreed. Mostly. Nobody had bothered to ask about the small, unassuming creature in Ambassador Patricia Green's quarters aboard the diplomatic station. It looked harmless enough, black and white fur, about the size of a standard transport case. The bioscans registered it as non-threatening. The scans were wrong. Lord Kravix was a Theran, one of the apex species in Council space. 8 feet tall, natural armor plating, strength enough to bend steel. His species had never known fear. They were the things other species feared. When he saw the human child wandering alone in the residential section, instinct took over. Prey. Small. Vulnerable. Easy. He reached for the girl, claws extending. The human custom of kidnapping for ransom had proven profitable in the past. Humans paid anything for their young. 7-year-old Emma Green had time to scream once before something small and furious hit Kravix like a missile. Security footage would later show that the creature, later identified as a Malivera capensis, common name honey badger, covered the distance from Ambassador Green's quarters to the attack site in 4.3 seconds. Xenobiologists would spend months trying to understand how something that small moved that fast. They'd spend even longer trying to understand what happened next. Kravix's natural armor had withstood plasma fire. The honey badger's teeth went through it like tissue paper. The Theran roared, trying to grab the animal, but it was already moving, claws raking across his face, teeth finding every gap in his armor, a spinning tornado of rage that knew only one directive: protect the child. Security to Residential 7, the station AI announced calmly. Medical emergency. Critical injuries. By the time the response team arrived, Kravix was on the ground, bleeding from dozens of wounds, making a sound no one had ever heard a Theran make. Whimpering. The honey badger stood between him and Emma, hackles raised, making a sound like a chainsaw having a seizure. Call it off, the security chief yelled at Ambassador Green, who'd arrived seconds behind her pet. Badger, stand down, Patricia commanded. The animal glanced back at Emma, confirmed she was safe, then slowly, very slowly, back toward its human, never taking its eyes off Kravix. The incident sparked 3 days of emergency council sessions. The Therans demanded the creature be destroyed, called it a weapon, a violation of Death World protocols. Ambassador Green stood before the council with Badger sitting calmly at her feet, looking like butter wouldn't melt in his mouth. Lords and ladies of the council, she began. You're right. This is a weapon, but not in the way you think. She pulled up a hologram, footage of honey badgers on Earth, fighting lions, surviving cobra venom, breaking into fortified enclosures, refusing to die despite injuries that would kill most species. One infamous case showed a badger receiving a venomous bite, falling unconscious, waking up 2 hours later, and finishing the fight. My species spent 100,000 years on a death world, Patricia continued. We learned to be smart, adaptable, persistent, but we also learned from the creatures around us. The honey badger taught us the most important lesson. And what lesson is that? The council chairman asked. Patricia looked directly at Kravix, who was watching from a medical pod. That size doesn't matter. That armor doesn't matter. That fear doesn't matter. What matters is this. You absolutely, under no circumstances, threaten something a honey badger has decided to protect. Badger yawned, showing teeth that had rewritten a Theran's understanding of invincibility. My pet violated no protocols, Patricia concluded. He didn't attack unprovoked. He didn't initiate aggression. He simply did what his species has done for millions of years. He protected his family. If your laws can't account for that, maybe your laws need changing. The vote wasn't even close. The Theran delegate abstained. Galactic law was amended that cycle. Self-defense protocols were expanded. The definition of family unit was broadened to include companion animals, and a new regulation was added, colloquially known as the Honey Badger Clause. Any species or individual that threatens the young of another species does so with the understanding that protective responses regardless of origin or intensity, are considered legally justified. Lord Kravix survived his injuries but retired from public service. He never explained exactly what happened that day, but other Therans noticed he crossed the corridor whenever he saw Ambassador Green approaching. And if she happened to have a small black and white creature trotting beside her, well, everyone suddenly remembered urgent business elsewhere. The honey badger didn't care. The honey badger never cared. The honey badger just protected its human.